Hello, and welcome to WTF Stories and Advice.
Are you going to introduce yourself or shall I? Hi.
So today we have a new person on the show. Louisa is away at the moment, so we want to get as much content out to you, so we're having someone new.
I'm hijacking for the day. Hi, I'm Angelina.
And this is Angelina Grey. Angelina has been a friend of mine for years, and she is amazing. And she is a radio host herself. She's got a show on the Hierarchy, soon to be back on air after a
extended maternity leave. I'm back shortly, in a few weeks.
She'll be back and better than ever. And I am Caroline Cranshaw, and this is WTF. We're going to tell some fucking stories.
Who's going to start first? I don't know whether I need to give myself any background or whether I just jump on in and...
Well, the reason why I wanted to have you on the show is because you have a fucking insane story of being stalked.
Which, crazily enough, you played a part in too, but we didn't find that out until a little bit into the story.
I'm a stalker. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, so she's got a very interesting story to tell. And so the other thing is we're going to be talking about stalking, and I'm going to tell a story that involves pedophilia. So
whoa, heavy stuff.
Not into total detail, but it's a story that, basically my run-in with a pedophile. So there's going to be, it's heavy stuff. It's slightly triggering. So if these topics are not your bag and you don't want to listen to it, then turn off now.
Fair call.
So you have a very interesting story, don't you?
I do, and it's been a couple of years now, so I think I can talk about it without freaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was something that actually caused a lot of stress. You know, for those who don't know me, I usually do a radio show, a day show on Radio Hauraki. And what happened was one day I was walking along the beach, just going for a nice old stroll, and I happened to check my phone, and on Facebook a message came up saying, "Oh, you're going for a walk." So immediately what I do is I look around and I go, what? And bearing in mind with the radio show, I also do videoed news items and the like that go out on the internet. I was working at the time on Juice TV, so people knew what I looked like, but I didn't necessarily know them. You know what I mean?
Did the message have a name or,
Yeah, so I had a name of a guy that I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
So immediately I look around thinking, someone's watching me, sprinted home, shut all the doors, and a few more messages came through and I just blocked him. Thought, okay, don't need this guy in my life. Blocked him on Facebook. Back at work, I realised we've got the text machine, that comes in with all the texts at work.
Yeah.
I'd been getting some really creepy messages and I clicked, it was the same language that was being used.
Oh, what were the messages?
Stuff like, just give me your number, I want snuggles, threesome, just lewd, inappropriate things. And it turned out that basically it sounded like he thought I was talking directly to him when I was on the radio.
Yeah, one of those.
And so these sort of started off sort of slightly bearable and then got weirder, but the kind of language that was being used, I clicked, it was the same guy that had messaged me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were so incessant that my boss called the number. Of course he didn't answer, left a message saying, cease and desist kind of thing, to stop texting.
Yeah.
And he didn't. So eventually we shut blocked him texting the station. He then discovered my email on the Hauraki website. So 40 to 50 emails a day.
Oh my God.
So I'll just have a little look here and see if I can find some of the stuff he was talking about. He had so he was a Mason. Belonged to the Masonic Lodge.
Oh,
so
really?
He'd say,
so he's like a Freemason.
I've sworn you in. You're going to be my next date when there's a ladies' night, and telling me being a partner of a Freemason, I had all these obligations that I had to...
Oh, so he thought you were his partner. Hey, I'd almost go along just to get the dirt on the Masons, though. Oh, my God.
Well,
no, maybe not
would.
with a crazy stalker, but I've always wanted to go to a Mason meeting. Okay, anyway, sorry.
That's something for another...
Maybe he's not that bad.
No, I'm just kidding. Topic to look into. He just wanted to wake me up by rolling over and cuddling me. He'd been cruising the lingerie section. He'd send me pictures of Kama Sutra positions.
Oh.
But because he didn't sound right in the head, you don't know where someone's going. You know what I mean? Like, because they're slightly crazy. If he had half a brain, he would have worked out where I worked and turned up.
Yeah.
and waited for me. He knew the hours I worked. He could have been there when I walked out. So I'm driving to and from work, looking over my shoulder constantly,
Yeah.
thinking, does he know where I live? But then the next bit was he sent me a message wanting me to send him some stickers. You know, can you send out stickers to this address? And he put a street that was just around the corner from me. Which, so I could be bumping into him, down at the shops and not know? It was really, really frightening.
Oh, no.
The one good thing was he started sending me pictures of himself, so I knew what he looked like.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
I knew what to look out for.
Yeah.
But then, here comes the weird thing of the story. I come into you because I'm, not able to sleep, and I tell you about the stalker, and I said, Anna's address is this. And you said...
That's my address. That's my old address. So and it's the same road as we're right now recording on. Yeah. So I used to live about a block away. Right. And then I moved another block down the road. So when she said the address, I just went, oh my God, that's my old house. And she remember you looking at me like I was insane.
Flipped.
And the thing is that I sold my house to another therapist. So she's a counselor as well. And she also works with people that are like mentally unstable or head injuries. That's more her specialty. And so I went, well, she's a therapist. I doubt she's living with us. Because did we know at that point any other detail? Or did we actually think he lived there at that point?
No. We just thought he'd given that address.
Yeah.
And so what had happened in the meantime was that I got told by friends and family, this is out of control. Like my boss had emailed him to stop emailing. Didn't stop. And I didn't want to block his emails because I wanted to know his mental state.
Yeah.
And if he might turn up. It was a way of keeping my eye on him.
Yeah.
I took to the cops hundreds of pages of emails, the texts, and they had said to me, oh, look, we've gone to the address. He doesn't live there. So we don't know where he is, so we can't get hold of him. In the meantime, the week after I'd gone to the cops, I get a phone call while I'm on air from a policeman saying, so, is this Angelina Boyd? Yes. So we've picked up a guy, like, right, who is drunk, mad, causing a ruckus. I think it was like at Burger Fuel in Parnell or some burger place in Parnell. He was drunk. Apparently he was sleeping in his car, so I think they DUI'd him or something.
Yeah.
They had him in the cells. They ran his name through the system and they went, we've got a warrant for this guy. He's been digitally harassing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So they called me and they said, look, we've got him. Just so you know, he'll be here for the weekend.
So at least you can relax.
You can
prison.
chill out for a while, and we'll book him, for misuse of communications, but he'll have to be released on bail. But then when I spoke to you and you told me that he was giving a therapist's address, of course it's got to be that he's been going there for therapy. It had to be.
Yeah.
So I went back to the cops and I said, look, you need to go back to that address. And they said, look, we've spoken to the lady. She doesn't know anything. I said, you need to go back. So they did. And here comes the really horrible part. So they went, knocked on the door and said, look, we need to know some more information about this character. I won't give his name out. And she said, is he a patient of yours? And Caroline, you'll know the answer to this of what's the deal with patient confidentiality? You give stuff up to the police if you think someone's in danger, or...
If you think they're going to harm themselves or harm someone else. So she must have thought that he was going to harm you.
So what she said was, what's happening? They said, look, he's obsessively stalking a woman. She said, what's her name? So they gave my name. And she said, oh, look, you better come inside and sit down. I've got some things to tell you. So the cops couldn't tell me for confidentiality purposes what he had said about me, but what she said was she knows all about me and this is something to take very seriously. And the information she passed on to the police meant that if I ever call the police from my cell phone or they can pick up your location, obviously, where you're calling from around my house, they have to answer my phone before any other phone call that comes through to 111.
Oh, God. What did he say? Well, here's the thing. Why the fuck did she not report this before? If I had a client come and tell me this, I would be calling the police.
I think it was because then what had happened in between the times of the cops visiting was he started turning up at her place at nighttime, wanting to stay.
Oh, God.
So in the end, we go to court. I luckily this time I didn't have to go in and give any evidence. My boss did, and he said, look, this is the worst case of stalking I've seen in all my years of radio.
Yeah.
And then he took a plea deal, and so his lawyer's like, right, plead guilty, take the plea deal, you won't go to jail, you'll get bailed or what have you. And then so when the judge says, right, you're pleading guilty, he went, wait, what? No. Oh, look, and asked the judge if they could go out the back and have a little talk together, because he's got it all wrong. And the lawyer's going, shut up, no, take the plea deal. He took the plea deal, and I've got to say, the cops involved with this, you know, you have stories about cops that are dodgy and whatever, they were amazing. Like, I love their faces off. They were so cool. They said, great, he takes the plea deal, because if he breaks his bail conditions, he's going straight back.
Good.
And they reckoned he would break his bail conditions.
Yeah,
so his
they
thing
normally
was,
do.
he had to be bailed to a particular house, was not allowed to contact me or the station for up to a year. Problem is, they bailed him to an address, again, just around the corner from my house. And I'm going, there's every chance I'm going to bump into him. I couldn't sleep as it was.
No.
We got extra security lights installed. And if he'd come round to my house, if he had turned up or figured out where I lived, the problem would be that, like, you know, my partner at the time would have, now husband, would have punched him, and he would have been the one to get done. You know what I mean? Like,
see, that's what's wrong with New Zealand. In America, you could shoot that fucker if he came up on your porch. You know, like,
get off my property.
And I agree with that in a lot of ways.
Right? Yeah.
Well, not that you should just randomly to be able to shoot people, but that's the thing here is, like, you get in trouble for self-defense.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me.
I guess with all the back information that we had, you could easily say it was self-defense. You know what I mean? Because yeah. So he goes to this address. I found out, the cops told me he got kicked out, luckily, from that address, because he was busted peeping through people's windows and I think taking underwear, if I remember correctly.
Oh my God.
So there's something seriously wrong with him.
Yeah.
The counsellor in jail that he had when he was in jail knew that there was something wrong with him. She didn't know how to deal with him. She could not work out how to get through to him.
Oh,
so what he did when he... Then,
how's the peeping Tommy?
when he got... he was out, and he made up a fake email address, of course.
Of course.
And it started again under these fake messages. So I told the cops, within moments they go and try and find him. He's not at his house. He was allowed to go to the library, though. So...
the one around the corner.
Yeah.
Because
so.
we both live in the same blocks from each other.
So they find him at the library with, this is genius, with his fake email account open. So they can go straight away, yes, it's you. And my show page, like my radio station show page, open listening to me while he was emailing. So they caught him red-handed. So there was no denying. But this time when we went back to court, I had to give evidence. And I had to be there. And I had to see him. And I had to state my name and where I lived.
I still can't get over that.
Neither. I
Like,
said, can I just say Auckland, not like the suburb where I live? Because I don't want him going, yes, okay, I was correct. She does live there.
I still can't believe that. And
yeah. And so, to be cross-examined, his lawyer quit on the day. So he had another lawyer. And the questions he asked me, I actually was saying to him, are you serious? Because one of the texts that I think maybe this guy had sent in was something about a pop star, like maybe Rihanna or I can't remember, Lady Gaga or something. So the lawyer had this text in front of him and he said, do you find Lady Gaga attractive to me? Is she an attractive woman? And I went, are you actually asking me this question in court? What?
Of course I do.
Yeah. I said, probably.
But why
Yeah. And he just went, no further questions. Oh. And I actually said to him, are you this
for real?
is a farce. Yeah, it was terrible. But I think everybody in the court knew what a joke it was. But I read my victim impact statement and I thought it was fine. And I just started bawling my eyes out.
I bet you did.
Because it's not any stress for me. It's stress for my then fiance. You know, didn't want to go to work because I couldn't open the text messages because I'd freak out. I'd hear. And then he started calling. And he's called. I didn't recognise his number at first, and I answered, and he's saying, I can't believe I'm talking to you. I can't believe that, the fact that you might like me back just drives me crazy,
You're like, I don't.
And one thing I'll put out, with all this communication he sent me, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds, I never once replied. So I never gave him any reason to think that there was anything, because I thought, if I reply, even if it's to say piss off, I've given him a response.
It's communication. Yeah.
And that's all anyone wants, a response, And so he got done for that, but he still didn't go to jail.
After that, after he broke his...
Still didn't go to jail. But the cops always said to me, look, anything he writes, message us straight away. And he did. He kept it up. Not too much. He changed his number, but I knew it was him texting through when I was on here. But weirdly enough, one day, it just stopped. And to me, that's... Oh, it's like the Bermuda Triangle. What happened?
So either he's dead or he found someone else to obsess about.
This is the thing.
It's one of the two.
Or the other thing I thought was because I'd blocked him on Facebook, one day, because I kind of wanted to know what was going on, because for my peace of mind, what the hell is this guy about?
Yeah.
I looked on through the station's Facebook and looked him up and saw a few things. He was posting a few creepy things about girls, so he's got an obsessive stalker problem.
He's a fucking nut bar.
But the one thing he did say, because he's not from New Zealand originally, he did say, yay, my parents are coming over to visit me. And I just wondered whether they came from overseas, found out what their son was doing. Like, what the hell, you've been going to jail for this, that, and the other. And they just maybe took him home.
Oh, well, here's hoping.
So there's three options.
People like that shouldn't be out on the streets.
Well, here's the other thing, is that the cop that was looking after me, his partner was a therapist for quite a famous case in New Zealand whereby a guy was stalking a girl. She was his therapist, the stalker's therapist. He got bail, and on bail he killed her. So she said to the cop, her husband, you've got to take this so flippin' seriously.
Yeah.
Because of what's happened, you just don't know. Even if it's slight bit of communication that sounds a little bit not
if
too
it's
innocuous.
not allowed, then you go to jail. No. If they can't control themselves, even with the threat of jail, because it sounds like he was getting the threat
And
of jail.
because what was happening was he kept on saying, because I wasn't replying, I'm going to get you back. So it would flip from I love you to
I'm going to fucking kill
screw
you,
yourself.
bitch.
Yeah, you're obviously up yourself. Do you only love yourself? I'm going to get you back. I'm going to get you back. He'd message people at work saying, help me get her back. So.
Oh my God. That's insane.
That's my story. And look,
you're alive.
I'm a better person for it.
And you're not having someone wear your skin as a suit. So that's... you survived it.
I did.
That's terrifying, though.
But what happened? Oh,
where is he?
Exactly.
That's maybe he'll listen to this.
The thing is, I do under my bed. If anyone came over to my house, there's a long chain under my bed and a baseball bat and a weird looking knife, and there's a baseball bat by the front door, and lots of security lights. So just you try me.
Get a gun, hun. That's what I would do. Sorry, the American pops out every now and then.
Whoa.
I know. Oh, well, yeah. I think the thing is that it's amazing what you can survive. It's amazing what you can deal with and come out on the other side. And there's crazy people in the world. And unfortunately,
there are.
yeah.
And unfortunately, they all like to listen to the radio. There's a really high statistic of schizophrenics that listen to the radio, because I've had cards from people saying, "You're the angel in my head. Thank you. From your friendly schizophrenic, Michelle," or something. Yeah. Because the amount of people that think you were talking to, and he did, the stalker, thought I was talking directly to him. Every voice break was a message to him.
That's, yeah. I mean, I get schizophrenics because as clients, and I always find it fascinating.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to go with what they're saying. Not stalking incidences. You don't go, I think you guys are in love and she is secretly wanting you to chase her. But sometimes you have to go into their reality. You know what I mean? Because if you just tell them they're wrong, then I don't know. I have some interesting theories. I think some people are just fucking nuts, right? Like they're just, and that's not a very nice way to put it, but their brains are not playing tricks on them, but basically, it's an alternative reality that they're experiencing that's being generated by their brain.
And do you think that's from the word go, or do you think they've been conditioned, or is it a bit
I think
of both?
there's a genetic tendency. I think sometimes it gets triggered off. There's very few people that are born schizophrenic their whole lives, right? Schizophrenia is normally something that develops.
Okay.
So it's interesting. When I was studying, I did a paper on schizophrenia, and there is this really interesting study in these two therapists, or I think they were psychiatrists, that worked with schizophrenics that believed that a lot of cases of schizophrenia are a sleep disorder.
Wow.
And that they're in an REM state. They're dreaming while they're awake. And their brain isn't like basically going into a waking state properly. Because you imagine if you're dreaming while you're awake, you'd be like, your brain generates all kinds of shit while you're sleeping.
Fly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You see people that aren't there. You hear voices. That all happens while you're sleeping. So I found that
100%.
fascinating.
Well, it's like when people sleep talk or walk, and they're telling you things and talking to people, and
they're seeing shit that's there.
Yeah,
that's not. Yeah. So it's like, I thought that was an interesting theory. The other thing I think with some schizophrenics, and obviously not in this case, is that they're kind of unconscious mediums, that they're hearing voices of, I don't know what.
That's what I wonder.
Yeah. I think that's, I've worked with quite a few people that's like what you kind of come to a conclusion. And when you tell whatever spirit is attached to them or I find a lot of cases they kind of attach to a person, and then they tell them they should die, and they drive these like suicidal thoughts because that spirit wants to pass over.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've talked about this before, but
I think I've heard, whether I've spoken to you about it with someone else, but I've heard similar theories. And to me,
it's crazy.
I believe in all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
It
So
true.
Who knows? Maybe it's just the subconscious making shit up, and then that's a way they can kind of get out of it. But the symptoms go away, which that's what I find fascinating.
Well, have you seen the movie? It was based on a true story, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
That rings a bell.
It was like a court case of a girl who was possessed. But the other side was that she had schizophrenia, and the priest that exorcised her, they did him for negligence or what have you, because she died. Yeah. And so he was trying to say, no, it was a demon, and other people are trying to say, no, she's schizophrenic. And,
maybe it's both.
Oh, yeah. And it was based on a true story, so it's fascinating.
I'll have to check that out. It rings a bell.
Yeah, it was from a few years, maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, do it.
Scary. So, well, holy crap. Well, mine isn't as crazy as yours, this story, but you've never heard it.
No, and this sounds like it's going to be dark.
When I must have been about like 20, 21, I moved into this house with two guys. Mm-hmm. One guy owned the house, really nice guy. He had a girlfriend who was amazing. I loved his girlfriend. And yeah, it was a pretty cool situation. I think I was a hairdresser at the time and was having fun. Anyways, the guy had his own business. He did landscaping and like painting. So he'd hire these kind of crews of guys. And I started to notice that he was talking inappropriately to them, and he'd only hire really young guys. Like as young as he possibly could hire, and super good looking, not very smart,
pretty,
but super hot. And like, I just remember like I'm in the kitchen one morning and he makes some comment like, hey, who'd like to suck my dick? Anyone like to give me a blowjob? And I was like, what the fuck? And so I go out there and he's standing there and he's got his back to me and he's got a towel on and he's got his towel open and he's like obviously shaking his dick at them.
I love your little gesticulation.
And I did a little movement and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, these poor kids are like looking at him. They're like 16 to 18 years old and they're all kind of like looking away going, no thanks dude, that's cool.
Oh,
and I'm
Jesus.
like, does he make comments like that to you on a regular basis? And they were like, all the time. And I was like, that's not fucking appropriate. What are you doing? He's like, it's a joke. I'm like, jokes are meant to be funny. There's nothing funny about that. No. So
that's frightening.
Yeah, and then he made some comment about we were watching some TV show and there was like a 10-year-old girl and he was like, oh, she's fucking hot. And I was like, excuse me? Oh. Like what? And our other flatmates there and he was like horrified. Oh. And I'm like, are you joking? Or he's like, no, she's hot. Like you can tell she's going to be gorgeous. And I said, I'm sorry, but your brain's a bit fucked if that's how you're thinking. That's not okay.
Yeah.
And he called me some prude and blah, blah, blah. Oh, you can tell if someone's going to be hot and blah, Anyways, his girlfriend was from one of the best families in San Francisco, like one of the wealthiest families. Like they have museums named after them. Like I'm not fucking kidding.
Oh, that's the next level, right?
Yeah, next level shit.
Yeah.
She was studying to be a child psychologist.
Okay.
And she would complain to me about how they never had sex and he had no libido. And I'm thinking, maybe if you grow a dick, it might be a little bit better. And I'm going, and as a hairdresser and as someone who grew up with gay men around me constantly, I'm thinking, this guy's definitely got, yeah, a taste for the dick. Hey, can't blame him for that. So do I. So anyways. Yeah, so it just started getting weird, and I was kind of having like weird feelings. Him and his girlfriend get engaged, and so they're planning this big wedding. She's due to inherit something like $30 million on her 30th birthday, right? She never needs to work again, this girl, but she's very driven and a good person and wants to help people.
But she's happy to marry someone who doesn't want to shag her.
I know. And that's what Anyways, one day I had a cat named Damien. He was like 20 pounds, which is 10 kilos. He was the biggest cat you've ever seen. He used to chase dogs around the neighborhood.
Was he like a Maine Coon or something?
He must have been a Maine Coon mix. He was hilarious.
Damien.
And I would stand out. Yeah, and I named him that because when I adopted him from like the SPCA, and the woman's like, that cat is a little demon. It is the devil. Right. And I was like, Damien, that's his name. Brilliant. Perfect. So I'd go outside and I'd be like, Damien.
It must be Omen or something.
I don't know. I would scream it out in the neighborhood. Neighbors would be like, what the fuck is going on? Anyways, I'm looking for my cat. My cat is asleep in his bedroom. He was a total slob, this guy, and one of his drawers is hanging open and there's clothes in it and the cat's sleeping in that. So I pick up the cat and I accidentally pick up some clothes with the cat and start to put the clothes back, and there's this book there, says, Daddy, where did I come from? And it's a picture of a little boy holding a man's hand, and they're both naked. And I thought, that doesn't look like a proper Daddy, where did I come from book to me. No. Open it up, and there's all these pictures of little boys with naked men. And little boys touching men's penises. No. Yeah, and I was like, I felt fucking sick.
God, that's traumatic.
Yeah. So I called up a girlfriend of mine, and we had been kind of going, I think he's gay, and I think, all this kind of stuff. And she was training to be a social worker at the time. So she's like, I'm coming over right now. Yeah. He was away for the weekend because I think he was staying with his girlfriend. So we go through his bedroom, and I swear to God, we found about 20 items of either kiddie porn or like young, hot Papa's Cherry type of stuff. Like young, dumb, and full of cum. Henry's gonna, and you're just like, okay. Not one bit of like what you call normal porn.
No.
So.
No.
And I'm like, oh, fuck. And she's like, you've got to tell her. You've got to tell the girlfriend. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I do. So a week goes by. And I'm very kind of standoffish with him, and I just know I've got to tell her, right? Yeah. Like, they're planning this wedding. The wedding is now like 3 or 4 months away. And I'm just like, I just felt sick. I was like, I couldn't eat. I was just beside myself. And I'm thinking, fuck, I'm living with someone who's a pedo. Like, I don't think he's offending, but I think it's there. Yeah. And so that weekend, that Friday, I'm driving home from work, and I knew she was going to be there that weekend. And I'm like, fuck, I've got to tell her, right? Like, I've got to have an opportunity. And I'm like, give me a sign if I'm meant to tell her. Because some part of me also was like, stay the fuck out of it. Just get out. Don't move out. Stay out of it. But
you'd feel sick.
With good conscience, I knew I couldn't not tell her. But anyways, I'm like, give me a sign, universe. And right at that moment, these 2 guys on motorbikes come driving up on either side of me it had the gay pride flags. Yeah. They had gay pride on their back, and they're like, gay pride. And they fucking like drive by me, like both sides of the windows, and then like right in front. And they're like, and I was like, there's my sign, gay pride. Like, I've got to like bring him out of the closet.
Yes.
So I get home, she's there, he's not. And she's like, oh my God, I'm cleaning out his closet. He dresses like such a fag. I'm going to buy him a whole new wardrobe. And I'm like, opportunity, hello. So I'm like, oh, I'll help you. Oh, what's in that drawer? Oh, found the kitty porn thing first, just pointed her right there. Genius. And she's like, ugh. I mean, it's like you couldn't have had a better opportunity to tell her.
That is amazing. So you didn't actually have to be the one to, sorry to break it to you, honey.
And you need to know. No, it was like making it look like she figured it out herself.
Genius.
So it was perfect, right? Because I didn't want to have to sit her down and go, your fiance's a pedo. Yeah. And you need to get the fuck out, girl. You in trouble, girl.
Yeah.
And she found way more shit than my friend and I found. Holy crap. Like the whole entire California king-size bed was covered.
Surely he'd be too frightened to go out of the house and leave her in his bedroom.
I think, and he even said this afterwards, he subconsciously wanted to get caught.
Okay.
So she calls him and is like, get your fucking ass home now. And he didn't even ask why. He didn't say anything. He just said, okay. Oh. So I'm like, I am out of here. See you later. I pack a bag. I was gone for the weekend. I come back on Sunday, like night, and they're there in the backyard, like cuddling and looking all loved up. And I was like, oh, hey. And he's like, I know you were there when she found the stuff. And I said, yeah. And I'm looking at her like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you even here right now? I would not be there right now.
God, no.
Would you be?
Is he really manipulative or something? Or what's the story?
I don't know what the fuck she saw in him. He was not that good looking. He obviously wasn't good in bed. I don't know. I think she was, I don't know. Anyways. She's like, oh, well, I know I can help him.
Oh, no.
And
that's it. And she's drawn to yeah.
And he was like, he's like, I didn't get that stuff. This guy at the paint store just gave me a bag and I didn't know what to do with it. So I hid it all around my room. And she's like, yeah, no, I believe him. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, yeah, I couldn't even believe it. I said, I'm packing my bag. I'm out of here. You two are fucked up and deserve each other.
So
yeah, and she's like, "Oh, you don't need to be all aggressive about it." And
yes, I said, you do. That's child porn.
I was like, "You're going through with this wedding to this man that you know is sexually attracted to children. Like, what universe is that okay?"
And don't you have to report them, or what's the protocol around that kind of stuff? Surely,
in hindsight, I wish I had reported him.
You were 20 though, so you probably.
I mean, I was 20. I wanted to stay out of it. I knew that you'd go to jail for that. Like, you'd go to jail for years just for having it.
Yeah. The same thing as storing it on your computer, right? Well,
yeah. Just to have it is highly illegal. And so it fucking should, like it's the sickest shit ever. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, I just packed my shit as fast as I could and I got the hell out of there. I was like, to me, I kind of did my job. I don't know. And it's interesting because then I went on to become a therapist and I've worked with pedophiles.
Right.
And 10% of men, they say, has a sexual attraction to children.
There was something I was watching. I think it was The Dark Net. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yes. And there was something on that, wasn't it, about 10% of people, or men. And that, when you add up how many people there are in the world, that is millions.
That's a billion people.
Millions.
No, that's not a billion. That's like 500 million people.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be anywhere. So I get now why people freak out with their kids and don't put stuff about their kids on social media. Which I probably shouldn't. In hindsight,
It's scary. So they went on and got married.
They did.
They got married. They had a child.
Whoa.
I didn't actually find any of this out till years later because I remember telling this story to someone and they were like, well, what happened? And I knew they had gotten married because there had been wedding announcements and all this stuff in the paper. I missed out on a good wedding. Yeah. Could have gone to this high society wedding, but I fucked it up. And yeah, so afterwards someone asked me what happened. And so I looked them up on Facebook.
Yeah.
They don't even live in the same city. And her page was covered in Jesus Saves. She was wearing this like turtleneck, it was really interesting. But they obviously had a daughter.
And so they were still together though?
No. They were living in
they both were in separate cities.
Yeah, living in separate cities. And in his Facebook thing, he was wearing like an orange shirt, like a V-neck. And I'm like, are those prison? Is that a prison outfit? Like, I'm trying to figure it out.
Or is that a flamboyant outfit?
But you could tell, that she had been traumatized she wasn't religious in the slightest. Her family was not religious like that. So she obviously something had happened that she became like a born again Christian.
Oh yeah.
And was way, way into that scene. So I actually sent her a message saying, hey, remember me? Like, just wanted to see how you were.
Amazing.
She blocked me.
Oh. Damn.
So I never heard back. I don't know why. But I said to her.
But you didn't do anything wrong.
No, but I said to her when I left, I said, you are making the biggest mistake and I cannot believe it. And someone needs to tell you. And no one else is going to tell you because you're not going to tell anyone else that he's a fucking pedophile.
Yeah.
I said, but if you have children with this man, You won't sleep at night.
Shit.
Are you going to worry? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, she just couldn't say anything and was like, mind your own business and I can help him. And yeah, so funnily.
Either she was so blinded somehow, like he was either so manipulative, or else you have those women that want to save people. And that's how people end up in so many terrible relationships, because they want to be the savior, the one to turn it around.
Fuck that. That's all I have to say. Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, save yourself. I'm not going to fucking make your lemonade for you. You know what I mean? Make your own fucking lemonade. I'll be there to, unless you're my client. And then, of course, I'll help you in any way I can. But that's different. That's professional. I don't do that. Yeah, exactly. I don't do that shit for free. Not anymore. And I mean, believe me, I used to try to save men all the time, but not pedos. Yeah. So that's my story of my run-in with a pedophile.
Whoa.
And I've actually sent 2 other pedophiles to jail.
No.
But that's a story for another time. And not because of anything they did to me, but I'm the one who broke got them busted. And
so you thought they were either in danger to themselves or to someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And not as a therapist. This is when I was growing up.
Oh, you're kidding?
But I'll tell these stories on another podcast.
Oh, fascinating. Okay.
So on that happy note, we need something to lighten the mood up.
Okay, so how about pet hates or slightly weird things that give you the creeps, perhaps?
Like words that make you go, ew.
So I've got a list, a word aversion list.
Okay.
And I thought it was just me. Sometimes if I can't sleep at night, I'll start thinking about words that creep me out.
Really?
So
instead of counting sheep, you count words that are disgusting to you?
One of them, and they might sound strange to you, but one of them is luggage. Just luggage. Or if
Really?
you're in the supermarket, baked goods. Oh, it creeps me out.
Baked goods.
Portion. Ooh. Or phrases like if someone says, nip it in the bud. Oh, I hate that. Oh, I want to punch them. It's so Stepford vibes. Like, let's nip it in the bud. Or ramekin.
Really? Ramekin.
It either drives me mad, like if someone offers me a snack menu at a restaurant, I want to punch them in the face. They sound like a dick. Would you like to see the snack menu? Or
then what it's
so then I thought maybe I was going a bit mad, so I googled it because I really couldn't sleep, and it turns out it's really common.
Yeah.
One of the most common words on people's pet hate lists is moist. Panties is another.
Moist panties.
And moustache.
Ew.
So you put those 3 words in a sentence.
Moist panties.
You put moustache, panties, and moist in a sentence, and I'm out of the room. I'm not talking.
Tickles her moist panties.
Oh, I'm never talking to you again.
Now I know how to drive you crazy.
Yeah. So do you have any, or is it quite a singular?
Well, I don't like moist. I'm trying to think. I think for me, it's more when people say things incorrectly. You know what I mean?
All right.
That, like, in New Zealand, they are shocking for mispronouncing Mexican words. And they'll say things like jalapenos or tortillas. And I want to fucking kill them when they do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or if someone says perform instead of perform. And I hear a lot of broadcasters say performing tonight, and I want to punch them. It's not.
It's like a speech impediment.
No, it's just they're lazy. Surely.
Perform? Is that what they say? What do they say?
Perform instead of perform.
Perform. I might say that.
Oh, no.
Perform. I say it like that. Oh, no.
Or, if someone's talking about pronouncing a word and they talk about pronunciation instead of pronunciation. It's pronunciation, not pronunciation. You know what I mean? It's like people's grammar on text speak.
People are fucking retarded. No, sorry. That sounds terrible. But I swear to God, people are getting dumber. They really are.
Is that because of technology?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. And the schooling systems are just, when they interview people in Midwest America, I just want to fucking die. And I know it's not everyone. That's the thing. You go anywhere in the world, there's going to be dumb people and there's going to be smart people. There's going to be educated people and there's going to be uneducated people. But
smartphones are making us dumber, ironically.
Yeah, I think they are.
Did you hear that interview with Elon Musk and Joe Rogan?
No. I love Joe Rogan, though. Oh, my God.
Elon Musk is talking about how, people say, is AI going to become part of us? And he says, well,
It already
It is. That cell phone is an extension of yourself. You walk around with it and it calculates for you and it shows you where to go and it tells you how to talk. And it's part of us.
What's that Pixar movie where they all just become these fat blobs and float around in
Wall-E.
space? Wall-E. That's where we're going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. Unless something, I don't know, we uprise against in anarchy, but yeah.
Well, didn't Facebook had that where they created some type of AI and it started communicating in another language and wouldn't tell like the programmers what it was saying. Did you hear about this? And so they literally switched the whole system off because it freaked them out so bad.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I bet they pronounced words correctly, though. And its own language.
Yeah, that's funny. I'll have to think about what words I don't like. It's just more, for me, it's more the mispronunciation. And then Kiwis will actually correct the way I say things. Like they'll say, no, I'm not even fucking kidding you. They're like, they'll say things like, what, aluminium? We say aluminum.
Is that, though, they're just the English versus American?
I mean, yeah, probably.
Do you say Adidas instead of Adidas?
Yeah, I say Adidas.
So is that just...
Adidas. What the fuck is that? That's not the right way to say it.
I say Adidas.
Or Parmesan. What the...
What's Parmesan?
Parmesan.
Parmesan.
What the fuck are you talking about?
We probably say Parmesan. Oh, that's even worse.
I just want to fucking die when people say stuff like that. Yeah. So for me, it's and you can say things however you want, but what gets me is when they correct me.
You, right.
Yeah. Like my stepson's name is Lance, right? So I say Lance and it's Lance, apparently. It's Lance.
Do you get corrected for that?
I get corrected all the time, but it's quite funny as his little brother, who's 7, it goes, Lance! He's imitating me, basically. Yeah.
Do people tell you not to say dance and say dance instead of dance?
No, they haven't said that.
Well, then.
But they'll be, it's funny how people will correct. And I'm like, I'm American, I have an American accent, and this is how I fucking talk. That's what I say to the 12-year-old. Anyways, no, just kidding.
Jeez.
That's how my mama talked to me. It's fine.
I'd be interested to know if anyone else has word aversions or if I'm just a bit crazy and I can't pass the baked goods aisle in the supermarket without freaking out.
Baked goods?
Meal. That's the I think that's the worst one. And if
Would
a
you
guy
like to come
says,
over for a meal?
If the guy says, come over for a meal, or if he says it's wholemeal or made of cornmeal, I just want to vomit on his...
Cornmeal on his what?
No, I don't know where I was going with that. I do not know where I was going with that.
Well, so if anyone has any words that they hate, you should let us know.
Yeah.
You could write to us at WTF Stories and Advice at Gmail or on Facebook or Instagram. And you also can check out Angelina, as long as you don't fucking stalk her, on Instagram as well.
Stupidly enough, I actually have my Instagram open, so that's maybe not a...
I think that's fine.
Sure.
What's your Instagram handle?
My handle is Angie on the radio.
Oh.
It's ANGIE.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's me done.
Yeah. And if you have any stories you want to share with us or for us to tell or any ideas for cases or interesting topics, let us know.
Or people needing advice.
Yes.
Always
bad advice. No, just kidding. I always say that. But actually, I give fucking good advice. I have to say so myself.
I'll put my hand up for that. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
People pay me for my advice, so anyone's lucky to get it for free. Yeah.
Shit.
That sounds terrible. Is there anything else? Oh, and give us a review and tell your friends about us because we like attention and we need moral support to like show that we're doing a good job.
Why do you think I go on the radio? It's attention, man. Come on.
Everyone who does anything like this needs a lot of affirmation, so you need to tell us we're okay. And on that note, that's it.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.